Hello everyone, thanks for joining me again. So while I have a part on back order for the vertical stabilizer, I have a rib that's on back order. I decided to work on the rudder. So what you're seeing me do in this video is cutting apart the individual stiffeners that the rudder is made from. It really doesn't have too many ribs in it, simply because it's just too small of an area to put ribs in. So for the next few minutes, I'm cutting apart the brackets that make up those stiffeners, and also the stiffeners, and going to deburr them. A little word about my benches that I have. The covers that you see on the benches, I decided to go with really cheap yoga mats. I get them from $5 general store. They're a lot easier to replace than carpeting, and the filings, they don't stick into the mats. I decided to go with a lighter color, that way I could see parts that have fallen onto the table, whereas the gray, it's a little harder to see. I also cut out a spot on the other side where the gray one is and put my back riveting plate taped with the edges with some Gorilla tape. So I have all of my tools on a central cart that I can move around with wheels, and everything is plugged into a power strip underneath the cart, and then the cart is plugged into the wall. And as you can tell, I'm cutting apart the stiffeners, marking them. So one of the major functions I'm going to do here is, after I get everything cut apart, I'm going to rivet everything together and drill the number 40 holes in the rudder where it's called for on the ribs, and also the counterbalance rib in the trailing edges. I also have my builder number located on my YouTube videos, so if this inspires you to get a Vans kit, please recommend me. I get a small finder's fee for it. Great. Also, if you like my videos, go ahead and click the little bell, and I'll get a notification, and you'll get a notification that someone's subscribed. Over to the right, you can see the crate that the empennage came in. What I did with that is I covered it with chicken wire, stapled it along the edges, and it's sitting on sawhorses. I'm going to use that to spray paint the internal parts, the skeletons, with Exo primer, so I can just have a sort of like a makeshift spray booth, and I'll put that outside while I do that. Please let me know if this speed is too fast or it's too slow. This is about a 6-minute video. Not a whole lot to narrate during this video. Sorry I have my back to you. It's just a little bit difficult to get the camera over there on the tripod. I'm using a really cheap action cam I got on Amazon. I think it's 52 bucks. Looks like a GoPro. Put it on a tripod, and I think the slowest speed it captures is a frame every half second. I also made my benches so they can come apart. You'll see that they're kind of screwed together with a piece of 2x4 on both sides, and my dimpler falls in the middle. That way I have the length of 10 foot of table to dimple my parts. I also highly recommend any feedback that you give me. Hopefully it's positive feedback. I will also make any comment about anything I have messed up or have done wrong, in hopes that other people don't follow that. And also any corrections I've made if I have done something wrong. So far, nothing, but I'm just getting started. I can tell you right now that this is a really fun build. If you really like putting together things and following directions, this is for you. I like to keep everything very organized. Over to the left, I have it slightly off camera. I do have like little parts separators. So one of the things I did was I took everything out of the bags, labeled each drawer for all of the parts, individual parts. Even if a part had a single part, I would put it in a drawer and label it. I tell you what, it makes it immensely easier to find the part rather than sifting through a bag. Takes a little bit of patience to do all the organization, but it really pays off in the end. So here I am preparing part of the rudder horn. I can't get it underneath my bandsaw to cut the part off, so I'm using my Dremel with a little cutoff wheel. And a little cutoff wheel broke on the very last part that I had to cut off. So I have lots more cutoff wheels. Makes it easier. The tool I use the most, the bandsaw and the Scotch-Brite wheel. Also, I mentioned it in one of my other videos, highly recommend a pneumatic Cleco tool. You'll see why in some of the later videos. Separating the lower rib of the rudder, it actually comes in two pieces that you have to separate. And with that, I will let this video run out.